Hey guys, welcome back to the Unreal Real Estate's Luxury Network. Today we're headed over to Los Angeles. We're looking at a home developed in the 1950s. It's had a little bit of a remake overthrough, breathtaking remake over in my opinion. Looks absolutely fantastic. 1950s built, Los Angeles, beautiful. Making 2 videos a day, guys. If you like them, please give me a like and subscribe and all that. But let's get right into it.
Instantly when we visited the house to see that if it were restored properly, and we way underestimated what that was going to entail or how long it took, but decided it would be worth it to do it, partly for preserving it as art for the future, but also mainly to be in a joyous place to live in ourselves with our son. And we found that to be true.
It's amazing to think that this was designed architecturally, at least with the bones, in the 50s. Like, this is pre-acid, and these people were having these structural ideas. It's kind of crazy to think about.
My name's John Gillespie. We're here at the Kalis House by Rudolph Schindler, built in 1946. It's in the Hollywood Hills in Los Angeles, California. The house was built by Rudolph Schindler, who was a protege of Frank Lloyd Wright and did probably about 35 houses in the California, mostly Southern California area after he'd left Wright. Probably half of those are still existent today in some form. This house was extensively renovated, or restored really, in 2017 to 2022.
Looks great. Kept with a consistent style all the way through. It looks like you're stepping back into the past. Very retro.
Schindler often worked with people who were artists or
Check out the ceiling fan. Even the ceiling fan's retro. This is like custom work for your ceiling fan. That's really cool.
musicians. It was a combination in this case. Misha Kalis, the house was built for him. He was both a fine artist with
Yeah, these chairs. You think that'd be comfortable? I don't know. This one, maybe it's just the angle, but it looks flat. They look like they're made out of copper. It's pretty incredible stuff. The whole thing looks like it's made out of copper.
oil paints, but also a production designer at Universal Studios, which is within sight of the house here. The house was built for him. This end of the house was done as a living quarters. What's now a dining room used to be an outdoor courtyard with trees growing through the floor. That got enclosed in the 60s. The far end of the house was his artist studio. A lot of windows, a lot of clerestory windows, a lot of light coming in for...
It's kind of funny because it is modernized in a way, because it started out in the 1940s, mid 40s, and then it looks like it took a jump to maybe the 70s or even the like early 60s. So by the building standards of the building, it is actually a modern interpretation of an old home. Funny to think about.
being able to paint there or to work on projects he was working on. They owned it until the early 50s when they sold it to Mr. Kalis's cousin, Jacqueline Charlin, who was a concert pianist. She had played at Carnegie Hall.
They incorporate this tree right into the architecture here. Check that out. Can you even cut down this tree? You think the building codes today would let you do this? You think the old the red tape would get in the way of you building it into the tree like this?
At one point in her career, her husband was one of the most famous cantors in Los Angeles.
Oh, we do have the haunted mask up here, though. This thing is haunted. Oh boy.
So they had musical performances here. The space behind me had a grand piano.
Look how they have a bunch of typewriters all over. They stayed consistent with their colors and their style and their shapes. Very labor of love to keep this place looking great, and they did.
Piano. Famous violinists, Sasha Heifetz and others, had played here to audiences that would come regularly to hear concerts in the house. And the acoustics of it are amazing, in part because of the slant on the walls. It projects music very well. And we've found that to be true when we've had some performances here ourselves.
Even this, look at this couch. This couch is like custom shaped for this wall. Everything, absolutely excellent restoration.
It was just the original owner, Misha Kalis, and his wife, who sold it to his cousin, Mrs. Charlin, who lived here, brought up two daughters in the house. And she lived here until she died, which was, I guess, in 2016. So we're the third owners of the house. It's a privilege to own it, but also kind of a stewardship responsibility.
Absolutely. These historic homes, they need to be preserved. I believe they deserve historical status. They should be able to not be able to tear this place down no matter what. Historical status. Even their chairs are retro. Super cool retro.
Keep it up and let people come and see it and enjoy it themselves. This house came on the market in 2017. A number of people had almost bought it, but discovered it was going to cost a fair amount to fix up. People, the estate that had owned it loved the house, had done what they could, but there was a lot of deferred maintenance and deterioration, and things had changed in the house that weren't original. When it came on the market, we did a tour of it with Crosby Doe, who's a prominent modern architectural real.
Building so close to these trees. I wonder how much these trees have grown since it was built in the 40s. Like and thank the Lord it didn't grow into the house, because you don't want to cut down the trees. The trees is what make it special.
Real estate agent in town who we bought the original Schindler that we owned from. He was representing this estate for this house. So we came and toured it. We're daunted by the just sheer number of things that needed to be worked on. But it was, even with the gray paint, the carpeting, everything else, you could tell how loved the house had been. And that
super nice kitchen. Love how they figured out a way to angle their cupboards like this, and keep them straight when you open them. And that's cool. I've never seen that before. Cupboards at an angle facing towards you. How neat.
It just needed work on it to bring out its charm. So we decided it was worth the trouble to go ahead and start doing that. And this is the result.
Well worth the effort.
My name is Susan Orlean. We are here in one of the great works of Rudolph Schindler. He was doing something really different from Wright, although I think you can see quite obviously the connection between the two. When we saw this house, we could tell that it was a very special piece of architecture. But it was like a woman dressed in a very dowdy outfit. You sensed that she was beautiful, but it was hard to see beyond the sort of frowsy outfit she was in. There were beige carpets throughout the house. There was gray paint on all the walls.
Probably lead paint too. They used to use lead paint throughout the house. You'd get sick, get exposure. They've done an incredible job going through it. I'd love to see the process. I wonder if there's any videos on that. Incredible work.
We had no idea what was beneath the gray walls. My first thought when we looked at the house was we're going to have to pick a better paint color because the gray was really dreary. Well, we had no idea that underneath that gray paint was beautiful wood. The way we found out was we saw a picture of Schindler visiting the house right after it was built. And when we examined the picture, we saw that all the walls were the natural wood, and they were different tones and different kinds of wood.
Looks great. Yeah, stick with the wood. Don't even need to paint it. Absolutely.
But it suddenly occurred to us that these were never meant to be painted.
Yeah.
They were beautiful walls of mahogany, of Douglas fir.
Somebody did a real ruining on this house, and they came in and they fixed it up. God bless them. That is, who else is doing? This is the type of work you want done.
The ceilings were this beautiful tongue and groove paneling, and it was really like an incredible striptease, removing this
Oh, there we
layer
go.
of gray paint, which was many months, picking up these drab beige carpets and putting down nice, simple hardwood floors. And it was as if we saw the house for the first time in an entirely new way. I'm glad that we were able to see beyond these layers that had kind of been applied to the architecture.
Yeah, don't do that to your guys' old houses. Don't go in there and start painting your tiled floors with white paint. Do not destroy beauty. Don't let them do it. Don't let your partner do it. Say, "Oh, I want to paint this, that. I want to paint over the hardwood floors. I want to paint our hardwood floors white." Don't let her do it. Don't let them do it. It's bad design choice. Call me if you guys want to make a decision in your house. Let me know. Put in the message. I'm always available. Save and preserve these houses.
That we could remove and find the house intact underneath. We came over here with no notion that this might be a house we would buy. None. Zero. And walked
What are they playing there?
in just out of curiosity. And we liked it, but because of all of these layers of paint and carpet, as we were looking at it though, we thought, oh, this definitely is more space, and there were certain things right away that we really liked. What's funny is that I remember looking at the fireplaces, and the fireplace in our previous Schindler was made out of orange brick that was very linear, laid very neatly, stacked and tidy.
Yeah, this is like more concrete than it is rock. I usually complain that like when you have like a bunch of rocks and then you can see the concrete through it, but this kind of flips that idea on its head where it's like you see the rocks through the concrete.
So we come into this house and there are these crazy, brutalist, like giant Flintstone boulders.
Yeah.
And I think we both thought, wow, these are weird. And also the grape stakes on the outside of the house that look very shaggy and again, sort of rough and ragged. We were very ambivalent and went back and forth until like literally the closing.
Oh, I guess it is Cultural Heritage Commission. It is a historical monument. Thank the Lord. Protect these places.
I think we both thought, what have we done here exactly?
Should keep. Yeah, I think they kept this original. Kind of looks like an upside down fence, like a shack. It's a cool look.
And then it became this multi-year journey of the restoration, which we could never have anticipated. And there was a lot of fun and adventure in it. It shouldn't be portrayed as drudgery. Obviously, it's very expensive and it takes lots of time, but there's a lot of excitement as you begin seeing the paint removed, and you remove the kitchen that had been redone in the 60s and put back a replica of the kitchen from the 40s. Just felt like we kept seeing the house become more and more alive.
Very nice, very nook space. Reminds me of like a Beatles album cover. Like very colorful, very nice colorful, not shocking colors though, but almost like childlike with some of the areas. Which is good.
One of the things I love about this house is it is a joyful house. It's not grim, it's not harsh. It's absolutely joyful. You feel elevated by being in it. I really think you feel Schindler's joy in designing it. There's a
Cool bathtub, nice in here, nice dim colors. Color. Color. The past used to have color. Now everything we make is all white. If this was made today, all white, bathtubs white, everything's white, maybe gold fixtures. It's okay to have a little color in your life. These people knew that.
Playfulness, a kind of winking that you sense from him throughout the house, things that are clearly meant to be delightful. But there's no question that he wanted you to experience the light moving throughout the day in the house. And we wake up in the morning with a sweeping view of the mountains and the light coming in from the east. And then in the afternoon when I'm cooking dinner, there's the light coming in from the south. And it moves through the house all day long. And because of the angles of the house, it constantly feels like it's being reconfigured depending on where you're sitting, what angle you're taking as you look at it.
Absolutely. All these skylights and different windows here, everything like that. I mean, you think of your regular house with your box room, and then you stick a window in the wall. That's it for light. That's it for natural light. You know? Of course, you can't curtain this out, can't black it out easily, but man, this is nice. This is how you get light in your house. This is how you design for elegance, for luxury.
It is a wonderful house to live in. There's a lot of privacy in it, but also a lot of shared space. And it's not a huge house, but you can experience it in all these different ways. So it fills me with delight every time I wake up in the morning, every time I come home and walk in and think, wow, this is beautiful.
Very tasteful.
I got really interested in the history of preservation of architecture in LA because I think LA has a lot of great buildings that have been saved because of the new consciousness about the architectural history. Saving this house really makes me feel good because besides the cosmetic changes,
yeah, what a great looking place. Love their little carpets. Love how they kept their furniture to this consistent shapes throughout. Everything about it is done to match everything else. The place works well with itself.
it had issues like a foundation that was cracked and rotted wood and things that would have perhaps led to the house eventually falling apart or not being worth saving. So I'm really glad that we caught it at a moment where it was still manageable financially to save it. In the course of doing the necessary work, we kind of doubled down and really shored it up, really made the foundation sturdier than it had ever been, improved all of the things that should make the house last for another.
I'm gonna go on a limb and say, like, you take a place like this and you maintain it and you make it structurally viable for like a long time, like you're fully committed to it, I don't think you should have to pay taxes on it. It's a historical monument. You live there, you breathe there. You are a benefit to society. You are a benefit to our eyes. You remind us what is beautiful. No taxes. I know that sounds crazy because like somebody living in an apartment or who has another house be like, well, why my house is beautiful? Why don't I have to pay taxes? Because you're not preserving beauty. This place is preserving beauty and history all in one. No taxes for these people. This lovely couple.
Another 100 years. These mid-century houses are very much part of what is distinctive about LA. This is where all of the architects in the sort of mid-century period came out here because there was land to build. There were patrons willing to gamble on an experimental looking house. They weren't just building Center Hall colonials in Connecticut. They could come out here and do something radical. That's part of the history of LA. And the consciousness about conserving those houses is part of the legacy of the city, and I'm really happy to be part of it.
Absolutely.
The other thing is struck us as odd when we bought the house, but we've grown to love it as well, are called grape stakes. They're redwood, long stakes about that wide that were used in vineyards. And the entire back of the house is clad with it, and some parts of the front and the garage. The idea, apparently we've heard, was that Schindler wanted it to feel like it was part of the woods here with the trees. So it does actually do that. It sort of incorporates the house into the landscape.
Certainly.
The exterior on...
Yeah, it looks like trees are growing out of the house. From this angle, this looks like a tree house. This is incredible. Look at it.
The northern whole side of the house is completely grape stakes. And then it's used in different spots for accents elsewhere, and it's the whole front of the garage, which disguises the house from the street, because the house is down the hill a little bit from the street. And so you get an enormous amount of privacy.
Yeah.
Surprisingly. And we're still able to...
Got your little pool here. Look, they even keep this style with their furniture here. Look at this chair. Look at this circle that wraps around this chair with these thin legs. And even your little awning out here keeps that same retro style. Beautiful work.
Grow hedges so that you have a private feel here. This house is a Los Angeles Cultural Historic Monument, which gives it a certain amount of status. You could theoretically get a Mills Act. The preservationist feeling in Los Angeles is great. We've contributed to it a little bit monetarily, but also, I think, in restoring this house in particular and opening it up to visitors. We've had quite a few architectural students and professors and board members of the Frank Lloyd Wright Foundation and others come visit. So we like to share the whole experience of being in the house with other folks. And it's been fulfilling from that side as well.
Absolutely, guys. That's going to do it for today. With this one, what do you think? I love this place. Built in the 50s, modernized in the 70s, turned into this beautiful thing, encapsulated in time and in history. Send this to somebody who wants to do the next step and take this house 30 years from now, take it into the 90s. From the 50s to the 70s to the 90s. And then 2010, just keep modernizing it a little bit with little bits of the past and a little bit of the future and mix it all up. And then you get a beautiful place like this. Super retro, super clean, lovely couples. You'll notice it's always lovely couples who own these places. And it helps marriages. You find something like this and you fix it up with your wife, like a progress like that, working together, mano y mano. Good story for your life if you could do it. Absolutely great. I got a catalog full of these videos and everything, guys. If you want to check it out, I'd appreciate it. Hit me with a like and subscribe. And I will see you in the next one.